Good evening. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Happy Friday. Go ahead and come on in. 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 Come on. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in to loving him from A to Z. Anyway, I don't have bars like that, y'all. I'm just kidding. Hello, Aunt Avis. How are you? I'm gonna reach out to you. Come on in. Come on in. Go ahead and share this on out while I make this public to let everyone know that the Girl You Better podcast is on live. There we go. Now it's totally public. Y'all can share it on out. It's Friday, y'all. We done made it. It's time to relax, reflect, relax, relate, and release. Come on in. Okay, I'm giving you 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. Okay, well, welcome to the Girl You Better podcast. My name is Coach Ronnie B. If this is your first time joining me, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and also Instagram. And I am the resiliency and relation shift coach. And what that means is that I help people discover tools that they can use for their mind, body, and spirit so that they show up as their highest self every single day of their lives, no matter what life brings to them. And life is going to bring you some things, correct? Correct. And so on tonight, we are on day 11 of the Loving Him from A to Z series, volume 1. That's where I'm reading from. This is volume 2 by yours truly, Ronita Bowser. I'm the author of this book. And on tonight, let's go ahead and just get on into it. Excuse me, we are talking about day K, which is kids and keeping it kittenish. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, with every chapter, of course, I begin with a quote. If you've been following, you know how this goes. I give the quote, I read a few excerpts, we have a little conversation, the questions, and then the prayer. So this is the quote that I came up with for this chapter. Your husband needs your undivided attention in order to feel secure that he does it for you. Again, I'll repeat that. Your husband needs your undivided attention in order to feel secure that he does it for you. All right, so let's just get on into it. Oh, the wonderful world of parenting. I say this sarcastically because there are days you watch your children with such amazement, and in the next moment, you might be asking yourself, whose child is this? Who am I raising? If you have been blessed to be fruitful, either biologically or you acquire kids through marriage, you have a blended family, or you don't have any children of your own, but maybe you adopted, parenthood is definitely a ride. It's definitely a ride. And the beauty, if you have small children, of course, the beauty in a child's laugh is like none other. Children still have the one thing that we as adults have had to trade in for adulthood, and that is their carefree, easy breezy disposition without a care in the world. Sometimes adulting sucks, right? Like some days you just don't want to adult, but you have become one, so you don't have a choice. Um, and they naturally they soak in fun and embrace every moment to play and laugh. Kids are like little balls of fire, right? And they don't turn down for what, especially the smaller ones. If you have smaller ones still at home, they don't turn down. You have to turn them down at most times. But we as mothers, like, we devote a whole lot of energy to our children. Sometimes more energy directed at our children, um, even than our husbands. Like, we can get caught up. We can get so caught up with the kids. And in order to keep the balance, it is important to integrate kids at times into the quality time between you and your spouse. So fathers are more playful, like, naturally. While we are checking off our to-do list and doing all the things, whatever, the father usually, are playing, have played with the kids or interacted in such a way, when we're doing what we do as ladies. But it is important that we do not miss out on the activity and interaction between our children and husband, even as they continue to evolve and to grow up and turn into teenagers and adulthood and whatnot. And I've seen all the phases because I have, of course, children that are, an adult, near adulthood, that are, middle schooler. Then I have, primary. So I remember when I was in a position where I was so, like, when I was a single mom. Let's talk about, I'm talking to the single mothers now, that may experience this. So we know all too well how we need to feel like we are in control of things because we are the adult in the house and we need peace, correct? We need control, but we also need peace. And before, I met my current husband, I had a routine that I developed that worked for me and my two children at the time. And once we started dating and having both our sets of little ones, around and, trying to get them to bond and, see if they would, fellowship with one another and all that, just have some real bonding experiences. When I was single, I wanted my home quieted down by a certain time, and I desired things to be in order. But once you got, a 2, a 6, a 7, an 11-year-old, and in the midst, that were working through this new family dynamic, it was anything but quiet and orderly at times. There was a lot of things that had to be worked out and new rules established. But so it posed some challenges, but not one that he or I was not able to, have successful results eventually prevail. But, we both compromised and agreed on how to make spending time together work. So kids are not a hindrance, but an enhancement. Let me say that again. Kids are not a hindrance at all, but an enhancement and a blessing. And you should enjoy them together, even as they become adults. And when they become adults, sometimes they may not call as often, or they're wrapped up in establishing their lives so much to the point where you just don't hear from, but we're concerned about them, and we love them. But what I'm talking about, as far as just explaining parenting, and and having kids, sometimes when everybody is out of the way, when they're asleep or they've gone back to their homes, or what have you, ladies, it's time to turn up in a way that, a term I call, or just being kittenish. And kittens, like, they like to play. They're so playful, right? They just love to play. And I hear all of the mumbles and grumbles right now, like, oh, so you telling me to be a cat? You telling me to be a kitten? No, I'm not telling you to be like a cat. What I'm telling you is to just be kittenish. Life, we can take life so serious all the time, and we don't allow ourselves to kind of to play. to get into that role of being fun. Sometimes we are always too serious because there's so much to take care of, and especially when it comes to our children, those are our babies. And so we take our babies very serious, no matter what, no matter how old they get, they're still our babies. So I have to go to the extra mile at times and prep myself mentally. I have to talk with self and say, Ranita, tonight, hey, you're going to not bring up the kids. You're not going to discuss certain situations dealing with the kids, because it's easy to always, when somebody asks you, your husband, well, how was your day? How you doing? Well, with such and such, you start talking about the kids. No, I'm asking you about, you. How are you doing? It's kind of like, oh, you got to turn off. You got to take that mother hat off sometimes. You got to take that mother hat off and just really be in tune with what's going on with your husband. So although I find, there's a joy in being kittenish, it is not always easy because women have to dig and search for the energy when they feel depleted. Being flirty can be super fun and it can be funny. But you can laugh and make them blush and like a young schoolboy at times. And I love to see that when couples have that type of dynamic, because that they can also play. Yeah, they're living life and they're doing life and serious things are going on, but they can always be a kid at the same time. And so, really being into him, reserve and designate that crucial time, even with grown children and grandchildren you have been blessed with, you still need to guard your time. I don't know if there are any grandparents out there that are raising children. My hat goes off to you. My hat goes off that you have stepped up to the plate. You have taken that grandbaby in, just like, they were your daughter or son. And, you may be retired. You may be close to, to being retired, or you had a different plan. But for whatever reason, now you're raising your grandchildren. My hat goes off to you. And so I said that to say this. It's a time and a place to come together and fellowship with family and friends. But no matter how old you get, you can still keep the flame lit and have fun. There is an assignment that I gave to couples last year when I did this workshop. And I was surprised that a lot of couples hadn't done this, but to create a date jar. Like, you get a mason jar, you go to the dollar store, you pick up some wooden popsicle sticks, and you both can write down different date ideas. Like, just have 20, 25 of them, 30, however many you want. But just make sure that you dedicate a time to play, a time to interact. And so what I did, I had the couples, and you can even color code them. You can get real fun with this. So you can color code the popsicle sticks by, okay, like, hey, this is a cheap date. This is a medium date, and this is an expensive date. That may even include travel or something like that. But you can plan these dates accordingly, and it's so fun to watch couples light up because they feel so free at that point to be able to play like, oh, babe, we haven't done this in a while, or you know what? I would like to go here. I would like to do this. It could be inside. You can even plan the dates. Like, you can color code them like, okay, this is our inside, like our house dates. These are our, away from the house dates. I mean, you can get very, very creative with this idea. The important thing is that you keep it kittenish, girl. You keep it kittenish. You play, you date, and you make it a priority. And let me go ahead and end this. I don't have to stay on here for long. And hold you. It's Friday, and I want you to enjoy your weekend. I will be back on here tomorrow, of course, talking about day L, which will be day 12. But let's go ahead and get into these questions. So, on a scale from 1 to 10, how involved are you um, as a parent? Number two, do you enjoy parenthood? If you really don't find enjoyment in parenting, what makes you feel this way? A pastor told me once upon a time, you should never see your children as a liability. You should see them as an investment, because what you invest is what you get out. That was for free. Number three, if you are a step parent or adoptive parent, what strategies have you created to bond between yourself and the child or children? Number four, is being kittenish natural for you? So are you naturally playful? Um, and it's so funny because we were talking about this the other night about cats and how they do. You know, if you start petting a cat, then all of a sudden they'll get in position and they'll start to rub back against you, and they'll start to arch their back and stuff like that. Like, it is so funny. Like, the cats, like, they will make it known that, yes, I want that. Yes, do it. Yes. And it's just so funny because that's their natural instinct to do that. But anyway, if so, how does this enhance your personal relationship with your husband? If not, what changes can you make to benefit the quality time that you spend together? Number five, describe what your energy level is like from morning until night. Sometimes our energy level is different. Sometimes you might have more energy in the morning. Sometimes you might have more energy in the night. And sometimes I like there can be breakfast, made between each other, like a brunch. Um, if you're, like a early morning person, maybe you want to get up and um, go do something fun or whatever like that. But just plan accordingly, and make sure that you keep it even, that you're open to the date ideas. There was one date idea that was so hilarious to me, and I think it was, no, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell y'all. Another couple told me about this, but it was hilarious. But it almost caused some injury. It involved some plastic and uh, some baby oil. It was like wrestling or something. Like, it was funny. But anyway, the story. Number five, describe what your energy level is like from. Oh, I already read that. Number six, is there anything you can do or have done to improve your appetite for playtime with your hubby? What kind of games do y'all like? What kind of games do you play? Are y'all just always watching Netflix, or do y'all have a little, competitive fun with each other? So anyway, let's go ahead and end this with a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for allowing us to be fruitful. Thank you for blessing us with children. Lord, whether these kids are biological or were acquired through other means, it is an honor to be called mom, but at the same time, God, I am a wife. Please help me to balance life so I leave myself enough energy at the end of the day to interact with my husband. It is hard being a working wife and mother, and Lord, sometimes I just feel depleted. I ask you to give me a second wind during the times I just want to fall face down in bed without uttering a single word. I want to preserve myself. And it is so easy to supply the demands of my children. But what about my husband? I owe it to him to leave some time and energy so that we can delight in one another's company and play. Continuing to submit the bond between my children and my husband is my priority, and creating memories is something I will do. We are a blessing to one another. And with that said, I ask you to help me cultivate this norm so that this remains our culture in our household. In Jesus' name, amen. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that. Tomorrow is chapter L, day L, and we're going to talk about lazy versus love. What does that mean? What is she talking about? Lazy versus love. Well, anyway, tune in tomorrow so you can find out. You have a wonderful weekend. I know many of you will be celebrating Valentine's Day this weekend because Valentine's Day fall on a Monday, and I know that's a work day for many people. So whatever you do, enjoy yourselves. Make sure that you're present. Make sure that you're intentional. And I'll see you all on tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn.